I don't know why no one talks about this, but sometimes we don't pay too much attention to the secrets. But I had a close look at the episode and find a lot more secrets, so watch this video to the end, because you will find out a lot of secrets from SKIBIDI. Toilet Multiverse Episode 19 Part 2. Hello everyone. Upgraded Elite Clock Woman, here. Like and subscribe to help me marry Elite Clock Man. And let's go. The episode starts with falling Titan speakermen. We can see that they moved from circus, that was in the previous episode, to some desert. And we can also see behind a barricade, maybe that was a lion's base. And we can see that Titan speakerman is actually angry. I can tell that by his red speaker. And we can see that he's fighting with Pennywise SKIBIDI Toilet. And as I said in my previous videos about Leaks Episode 19 Part 2, that Titan speakerman will fight with scientists, and cameraman will fight with Pennywise, and speakerman shoots him with new lasers that he got back in Episode 17, and scene changes, and we can see scientist SKIBIDI Toilet. He gets hit with cameraman's hammer, and we can see that he's angry and he tries to hit a Titan cameraman with his poison tentacles. But Titan cameraman defends himself with his new hologram shield, the same shield he had in original SKIBIDI Toilet. And scene changes again, and we can see Titan speakerman again. And he uses a flamethrower with his core. When he fought with Nightmare SKIBIDI Toilet in Episode 17, he didn't use that. Maybe that means he has a lot more upgrades than we think. But Pennywise uses his hammer to hit Speakerman. And this is funny because if you look at his hammer, it doesn't even compare to Cameraman's hammer. It looks like a toy hammer. Speakerman even holds his head in pain. And we can see that Titan Cameraman and Speakerman are together now. And we can see a scene from leaks that Dome Studios shared with us in their Discord a few days ago. We can also see that Speakerman has lost his speaker. It's probably from the impact of the toy hammer. And they're watching, but the SKIBIDI Toilets are approaching. And we can see that Scientist is really angry. And we can see a scar on his face that we never see before. And Titan Cameraman, he says something to Speakerman. I assume he's saying, I'll hold the clown, you take care of Scientist. And Speakerman pulls out his axe, which is his new weapon. And they split up, and Speakerman goes to the scientists, Cameraman goes to Pennywise, and they start fighting again. And Speakerman uses his lasers and hits the scientists, but the scientists use his lasers too. But Speakerman flies up and cuts off one of his tentacles. And now we can see a Pennywise, and we can see a flying cameraman with a sword, his also new weapon. If you don't know, Dom Studio already showed us in the leaks that Titan Cameraman has a hologram sword on his right hand, like TV Man in the original SKIBIDI Toilet series. But he uses his lasers on his left hand, but Pennywise manages to dodge. And we can see a big explosion. I guess if Pennywise didn't dodge, he'd be dead already. These lasers are even stronger than Speakerman's lasers. And we can see that he can also fly. And he hits the cameraman, and he shoots a cameraman with his core where his flower was. And that's interesting. We actually see a similar SKIBIDI Toilet with a core too. And he even has a body. A lot of people assumed that this clown, SKIBIDI Toilet from Episode 19 Part 1, is actually a Titan, SKIBIDI Toilet, because of the core that he has. And Pennywise SKIBIDI Toilet also has a core. So that means that Pennywise is also a Titan SKIBIDI Toilet? What do you think? Write in the comments. But Titan Cameraman blocks a laser with his shield, and he shoots him with miniguns. And Pennywise loses control and lands right on the scientist's SKIBIDI Toilet. And Titan Cameraman returns to Speakerman. And we already saw this scene in the leaks. Dom Studio shared this in the Discord. So if you don't want to miss any new leaks from Dom Studio, subscribe to my channel, and we can see that they already get up. And they changed the partners. Now Speakerman fights with Pennywise, and Cameraman fights with Scientists. And we can see that Cameraman hits Scientist with his hammer. But Scientist uses his speaker to blow Cameraman away. But his speaker suddenly breaks, and now the scene changes. I actually liked how they rotate the camera, and we can see a full fight, and we can see that Pennywise holds Speakerman, but Cameraman shoots with his lasers right at Pennywise's head, and now he is without his head. But Scientist takes Cameraman's hammer with the magnets, and he tries to use his gun. That stops time. If you remember, he did that with Titan Drillman in Episode 14, when Alliance warned us that this is a trap, but Titan Drillman did not listen. And now, because of that, he is now without his body. But I hope we can see him again in the future. And he will be super strong, but Speakerman manages to stop him, and he breaks his gun with an axe, and he uses a flamethrower to burn the scientists. But the scene changes, and we can see a Pennywise without a head, and he moves. How can he move? I thought he was dead. SKIBIDI Toilets usually die when their heads get ripped off, but that's not the case. Pennywise actually has a second head, and we can see a nightmare. Pennywise? Dom Studio thought that Pennywise SKIBIDI Toilet wasn't scary enough, and they make a second version of him, a more terrifying one. And he tries to make a bite of 87 on Titan Cameraman, but Cameraman dodges. And he tries to hit Nightmare Pennywise, but he also dodges. Cameraman uses his miniguns on his shoulders, but that's not enough. And Speakerman gives Titan Cameraman his axe. I love their relationship. They don't even have to say a word to understand each other. Cameraman just looks at Speakerman, and Speakerman understands what Cameraman needs and gives him an axe, which actually says that they too have been through a lot of fights in the past. And we can see how Speakerman tries to flush Scientist, but it doesn't work. And Cameraman approaches and hits Pennywise with the axe, and scene changes. We can see Speakerman now, and how he hits Scientist with Cameraman's hammer. And we can see that Cameraman is almost done with Pennywise, and they switch weapons. And Cameraman almost defeats Pennywise. But Pennywise uses his horns to blow Cameraman away, just like Scientist did with his speakers. And Pennywise gets up and points his gun at Cameraman and shoots, but nothing happens. It's really a toy gun. But he actually shoots with green substance on Cameraman. And we can see how Cameraman sees right now, the same way we see an original SKIBIDI toilet. But now it's all green. But Cameraman removes a lens, and we can see a Pennywise and red TV screen, the same screen that TV Man has, and he actually hypnotizes Titan Cameraman. And he can't move now. We actually see this in leaks. And in leaks, I say maybe this is Pennywise. And I was right. And Cameraman drops his hammer, and we can see even his camera turns red. And he starts to lose his mind, but he was able to resist and breaks the TV screen. And this is insane. These two Titans are actually overpowered because the time stop on Speakerman doesn't work. And I don't know why. Maybe because of the upgrades he got. And now Titan Cameraman resisting TV Man's ability. These two are insanely powerful. These two can fight with Titan TV Man and Titan Clockman, and I don't think they will lose. But back to the episode. We can see how Cameraman grabs Pennywise by the neck and stars to fly up, and he flies higher and higher, and he uses his core to destroy Pennywise. His just burns him to death. And we can see his eye is actually red, maybe that means his is bad. We can already see him in this state in episode 14 when he fought with Speakerman with SKIBIDI Toilet, and he was super angry and starts beating this SKIBIDI Toilet to death. Maybe this is actually Parasite SKIBIDI Toilet that is inside of Cameraman, and he takes control of him, and his eye is red. But okay. He actually burns him, and we can see a skull of Pennywise, and he is dead. And we can see how Speakerman fights with the Scientist. He shoots with the rocket at him, but Speakerman blocks with his hand, but he loses his laser, and we can see how Cameraman watches this, and we can see that his eye turns back to blue, and he scopes at the Scientist with his laser. And Speakerman looks at the Titan Cameraman. He sees that he's done with Pennywise, and Speakerman says see ya and flies away, because it's about to get hot, and we see the Scientist looking at them, with the axe on his head. And the weird thing is that we can see that he doesn't have blood, but he's releasing electricity from his head. And that's weird. Maybe this isn't actually a Scientist, maybe this is a clone. We already see that in the original SKIBIDI Toilet. But Cameraman shoots with his lasers at Scientist, and we can see a big explosion. And now we can see Cameraman and Speakerman, and we can see a Scientist SKIBIDI Toilet. He is super badly injured. This is the first time we see him in that bad state. He lost all his weapons, and now he can't do anything. But we can see that he's actually smiling. And that's weird. He doesn't even have any blood on him, and he just teleports away. Speakerman tries to reach him, but he can't. And that's the end of the fight, but not the end of the episode. And they start to look up, and Titan Cameraman points his finger at the sky. And we can see a lot of SKIBIDI Toilets in the sky. And wait, so this was actually a trap for Titan all along? And we can see that they approach them. These clown SKIBIDI Toilets have exploding barrels on them. And what can Titan do? Titan's Cameraman pulls out some weird weapon, and the Cameraman looks at the Speakerman and says, like, did we really have to use that? And he says yes, and we can see how they approach. And they put these two weapons in Cameraman's right arm, and this actually creates a shield that covers them both, and SKIBIDI Toilets exploded. And we can see that their shield actually make it. Thank God. I actually was afraid that they die here, and they actually unharmed. But wait, they noticed something. And wait, who is that? Oh, this is a hand cameraman that we see in episode 19, part 1. This is a spy that I was talking about. And the episode ends. And what can I say? This was a super epic episode, and I really like it. Like, gosh. Who was cooking the episode? The best episode, actually. And if you watched original SKIBIDI Toilet, you know that the scene where a lot of SKIBIDI Toilet approaches Titans was in episode 65, when Titan Cameraman tries to defend himself with small shield, but it doesn't help, and he was badly injured, but in Multiverse he actually have a big shield. and he protect himself and Speaker Man from this attack, and these two was so strong that they win the battle unharmed. Okay, Speaker Man lost his Speaker Man and laser, but other than that, they defeated them very quickly. But what will happen in the next episode? Maybe Alliance will find another base and raid it. And there was also strange thing about Scientist, that he actually doesn't have blood. Maybe that was a clone, like in original SKIBIDI toilet, but we will see that in the future. And that's all for secrets. Maybe I missed something, write in the comments. And if you have your theories, write them in the comments too. I'm very interested to read, subscribe, and leave a like. Bye.